Hi Capricorn, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Cappy, it's for you. Remember to check them out for all three so that you know which one I resonate with most as a reader. They are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your key to the week, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. All right, so you have the High Priestess. Excuse me. Hidden things revealed this week. All right, so there are going to, in all of these different sectors of your life, there are likely to be pieces or tidbits of information that come to light that have you kind of, for some of you, these could be like aha moments where you're like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. For others, this could literally be where you kind of, where you move into that space where you kind of say like, okay, now that I see this sort of clearly. I will also say to you as well, when it comes to all of these different areas of your life this week, you must trust your gut. Trust your intuition. It will never lie to you, right? The only time we ever get in trouble with our intuition is when we stop listening to it. Now, that being said, for your actions and options, you have the Devil card. That's you. All right, which interestingly enough, I think happened last week and you had a completely different deck. So this means that at the moment you are kind of showing up very strong. You are showing up in your own personal power, which is great. Your actions this week are very much, because you've got the High Priestess here, you are looking for a very specific result. And you've already decided on the outcome, the result, the answer, or whatever it is. And so it's like you're going through the motions with everything else until you kind of come to the conclusion or the it's kind of like, you remember when you were younger and your parents used to ask you leading questions because they already know that you'd done something. They just wanted to see if you would fess up. This kind of feels like that. You've got a piece of information, there's something that you know, but it's like you're waiting to see if the other person's going to come clean or if they're just going to, and it's almost like you're heading towards it. It's like, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for you to speak up, to be honest about where you're at or where you're not at or whatever the case might be. For the options that are available to you, look, I understand the frustration. But this week I will say to you, be mindful of using any nefarious means, because obviously we are still in between eclipses and we're about to head into an eclipse. So you just want to be mindful. Then you've got the Hermit card in your communications and conversations. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you'll have heard me say that the Hermit shows up when the High Priestess has a message for you. But you've already got the High Priestess, so your intuition is speaking very loud. In terms of the communication that's coming up, this is you keeping your cards very close to your chest. There's something here this week that you are, it's like you know something, but you're not speaking on it. You refuse to divulge until you get the answer that you want, and then you're going to kind of do the Capricorn thing, right, and go in. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this could literally be where you are hitting the books, where you're burning the candle at both ends. Obviously just look after your health if that's something that you are doing. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this week you might come to realize within your organization that you are kind of standing alone on an issue that you feel is very prominent in some way. So it's almost like you're saying to yourself, well, I've got this bone to pick or I've got this issue, etc., but I know I'm kind of on my own in my thinking with it. It'd be interesting to see how that shows up. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, it's a similar kind of energy, but it differs in that you might be working towards a goal that maybe nobody else believes in or nobody else thinks is feasible. And so you're kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going with this. Because you've got the Devil card here, and we do have to call a spade a spade. It has many good traits, as many Capricorns do, but you know, now that we start to build a bigger picture as more cards come in, I will say there is a possibility here actually for all Capricorns, not just those of you that are in business. There might be something that your intuition is kind of telling you, you know what, just let it go or put this down. And it's almost like you refuse to. There's something here that you need to be very aware of, because it may come back up later. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this I kind of feel like is a, excuse me, there's the Capri yawn, although I've been doing it all day today. For those of you that are retired, this might be like a point of pride where you're kind of like, no, I'm fine, I can continue to do this. And it's like your body, you know, or your tiredness or your, you know, levels or whatever of energy are kind of like, no, actually you can't do this forever, and maybe it's time to put this thing down. All right, like it's just it's a possibility. For your love and relations, you've got the Queen of Swords. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, due to some piece of information coming to light or some new kind of revelation, it's possible there is a select few of you could be having a fallout with the significant other, because this is a battle card. You've got this with the Devil card, so it's almost like you and your partner are refusing to budge on your stances on something, and you know it potentially gets a little bit out of hand this week and turns into an argument. That's one way you could see this. Another way you could see it is you are kind of, it's not that you're at odds with your partner, but it's like there's a disagreement here, and it's almost like you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to deal with this before I talk to them, because I know that the way that they deal with it is A, B, and C. The chances are, because you've got the High Priestess here, right, if you try to circumvent your partner and deal with it before it becomes a problem, etc., they're going to find out. And then there's going to be the question of, why didn't you come to me? Be mindful of how you respond to that question. For those of you that are single, this week I would stay single. If you are newly seeing somebody, there's potentially some kind of conflict that arises, and this could be because you realise that you're not the only person that's in the picture. It's just possible. All right, for your money and materials, you've got the Magician card. This with the High Priestess this week, you could be having a conversation with somebody who shows you how to potentially pull money out of thin air. This could also be a powerful conversation that you have with somebody that really resets your financial baseline. So I'm very excited about this for you guys. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Magician card is a great card for health because it suggests a health reset. But because you've got this with the High Priestess, it's quite possible that this week you find out, like maybe you come across something and you're like, oh my gosh, like you read something, you hear something, you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, like I have that. And it gives you an answer to, it gives you at least a piece of a puzzle to something that, you know, has come up previously. And then finally, for those of you that know for your home and environment, the Magician card suggests change and switching it up. So on the home front, there is going to be some larger development. And interestingly enough, I kind of get the feeling that you know intuitively this is about to take place. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.